Dhamma, which leads to the ultimate blissful Nibbana. So, since we all know that this moment is a result of causes, and according to cause and effect theory, we know that this is a very rare result of many meritorious deeds that were done in a ministry of Buddha. So we may have done, and we should have done, a lot of meritorious deeds in this samsaric journey while we are with the association of ministry of Buddha. So all the meritorious deeds that we might have done may agglomerate together to remove all the hindrances, all the obstacles and barriers that may cover up our Nibbana pathway, and may all of us be able to comprehend the ultimate reality of the world, finally attaining the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Accept this blessing with the sadhukara.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
And let us think about all the bad and immoral things we might have done, especially to Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, which are the triple gems, and also to any sentient being in this universe. We might have done many immoral deeds with our gratification, with our mischievous and malicious actions and thoughts and words. We might have hurted a lot of people, a lot of sentient beings. And that is because we had no idea what is right and what is wrong. We did not understand the anicca, dukkha, and anatta nature of this world. So since we have an understanding about the supreme truth of this world, now we know that we have done various unethical deeds, various immoral things to the worldly beings. Let us remind all of them, and let us determine in our hearts that we would not do such immoral deeds again. And we see that these actions that we thought were right are actually wrong, and things that should not be done. With that understanding, do recite sadhukara with the intention of getting rid of all the immoral actions.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
So in today's discussion, I think we have got few questions in our chat as well, especially about the cause and effect theory, and about the the process of cause and effect theory. And if Mr. Dileepa can read the questions to the audience, then we will be able to have an idea about the questions as well.
I will do that now, Thero. I think the question's in about 3 parts. The first question is, please tell us about the practice of distinguishing between Nama and Rupa during meditation. Also, does this not generate Vijnana? That is question number 1. Question number 2 is, I would appreciate it if you could also tell me the process of seeing the cause and effect theory. Thank you very much.
Sorry, I did not hear the last part.
The second question, Thero, is I would appreciate if you could tell me the process of seeing cause and effect theory. Basically, the Hetupala or the cause and effect theory to be explained is the second part.
We could not hear the third part of the question. Most of it was just blank.
I see. Maybe there is a small connection issue on my side, Thero. I will check on that. Are you able to hear me at the moment?
Yeah. Now I can hear you clearly.
I will, while I'm working on that, I will reread question. Question number 1 was clear, Thero.
Yeah, 1 and 2 were clear, but I could not hear the last part of the third question.
2 questions, Thero. First one is the practice of distinguishing between NamaRupa during meditation, and also does this not generate vijnana? That's one question.
Yeah.
Second question basically asks whether we can explain the cause and effect theory.
Yeah. Now, I think second question is a very important one, but regarding the first question, since it should be answered prior entering the deep and broad question. So about NamaRupa. So about this NamaRupa, separation of NamaRupa during meditation. So actually this NamaRupa separation during meditation, what is described in the later texts, which were actually originated much later in the Buddhist what do you call, ministry of Buddha. So they were introduced very later. Most of them were actually theories given by people who actually did not have the idea or the understanding of real Dhamma. So this NamaRupa. So let's say when we are talking about NamaRupa, it is actually a part in cause and effect theory as well. So there's a part called NamaRupa in the 11 parts which will be discussed later during this when answering the second question. So if we think about Nama, so there are a lot of meanings for NamaRupa. So one is Nama means name and Rupa means the image. So that's the simple idea. So what usual practice, what's the usual practice when someone is referring to NamaRupa separation in meditation is they think about the physical form or the image, and they think about the mind associated with that image, and they try to separate it. They try to consciously think about the two aspects of that. One is the image of that, or the posture of that person, and the thought which is associated with that posture. Let's say someone is lifting the arm. Now his thought is lifting the arm, and what he is doing is he's lifting the arm. So image is lifted arm. So that kind of a separation is not actually about vidarshana. It's some kind of a samatha, which is explained in most of the this, what do you call, other philosophies. Most in philosophies such as where they use this concentration technique to develop their mind. So in ministry of Buddha, what we focus on is wisdom. So when you develop wisdom, this concentration is a result of that. We discussed how raga is the problem and the opposing factor for concentration. So when there's raga, your mind wanders around. Why do your mind wander? Because you find nice and valuable things, images, sounds, smells, tastes, touches, and thoughts. So when you are as a result of karmic energy, when an image hits or when an image touches your eyes, when a sound touches your ears, when a smell touches your nose, or when a taste touches your tongue, when a touch is perceived by your skin, or when a thought is received or perceived by your mind, what happens is, when there's a interesting case, when there's an interesting object, when there's a thing that you like, you just wander around with that initial stimuli. With the initial stimulus, you wander around looking for more. That's what raga is. So because of that raga, you cannot keep your mind in one place. So you don't have any concentration. So what happens with wisdom is, you see that there's nothing valuable or nothing to latch onto, because actually, ultimately, what you receive will be suffering and will be the negative part of it. Because in Four Noble Truths, the reason for dukkha or suffering is actually attachment. So when you attach somewhere, an image, a sound, a taste, smell, or a touch, or a thought, at that moment, your peace is gone. You are just fine without that stimuli. You didn't want to go anywhere. You didn't want to think. You are very normal. That means you are very peaceful. You didn't have the sankhara dukkha, where you have to create things. Either it can be a mind. You have to create the thought process. It is tiresome, just like doing a math question. That's entirely purely through your mind. And that's tiresome, you know that. If you don't like maths very much, then that is obvious. And you would use your mouth, and that is tiresome as well. And you would use your body as well. Is actually a breach of your peace. Your peace is not there at that moment. So what you experienced before was peaceful. You are not thinking, you are not listening, you are not seeing anything, you are not feeling, touch, smell, or what do you call taste. Not that they are received by your body. That is the natural process of human body. So if you have open eyes, you will be seeing. You are just seeing, but you are not watching. Watching is active. So you have to create it. Otherwise, what you would receive is, you are just seeing things. Just like you are sitting right next to the window of a vehicle, and you are just seeing a big forest where a lot of trees. And since the vehicle is moving forward, you just see things that passes you to the other direction. And you don't actively watch. You are just looking at the window. So you're not watching, you're seeing. Just like that, you can listen things. And you can hear things. When you hear, you are not active. And hearing is the normal process of your body. Seeing is the normal process of your body. Just like that, actively you can think. And if you do that, when the thought process, or we call it train of thoughts. So if you start a train of thoughts, that means you are active and you are thinking. But you can just, and now this experience of not thinking needs some practice. It has to be through actually meditation. If you don't have a very high wisdom or wisdom level where you have touched the nibbana, and you see that through vipassana as well, if you see the point where that creating a thought, not creating, even not creating a thought is actually blissful than just wandering in my mind. If you understand that part, then you would see that not wandering in your mind, creating a train of thoughts. Now, journey in a train is actually tiresome. You would prefer to sit in a chair in your house, in your living room, to a train ride. Just like that, you would not, this train of thoughts is tiresome. You have to think like this, think like that, and you have to create things in your mind, thoughts. So when you understand that this creating things is because you have given value, and because you want to feel that blissful sensation when your vexation is treated. When you give value to something, your vexation starts to build up. When there's a vexation, just like when you are hungry, you need food. Just like when you are cold, you need fire or a heater. When you are warm, you need a fan or an air conditioner. Just like that, when you create value for some kind of a thought, then you have just created a small vexation in your mind. And what you would do is, you would try to get rid of that vexation by creating thoughts, just like you use the air conditioner for hot or for warm environment. So using that technique, if you understand that actually not even creating thoughts, this is called avitakka, avichara, priti, sukha, ekagrata, the second dhyan. So at that point, if you have reached, you would experience that just actually creating thoughts is actually a very tiresome thing. Since we are in the world, since we are associated with the outside objects, outside world, we do not feel this. And we think that it's normal. And this is the extreme level of freedom or peace that we can get. But your mind is wandering here and there. Your mind is always trying to latch on to things, think about things. That's just not freedom in your mind or peace in your mind. Your bodily actions are stopped, and your words are not coming out of your mouth. So a person who is watching you would say that you are just calm and quiet at this moment, but not in your head. It's like a factory in your head, just it's moving everywhere. So when that stops, and when you stop, or when you close the factory, then that will be calmer, that would be peaceful than the thought processes. So that's how this works. So that's how Arya, in the Arya discipline, that's how the concentration occurs. Now your mind is concentrated. But when it comes to other disciplines, what they do is they hang on to something. Either it can be Apo, Tejo, Vayo, or Patavi. That means you can just look at the fire and you try to concentrate on the fire. You get a ball of clay and you keep it in front of you and you try to concentrate on the or a ball of clay. You get a bucket of water. You try to concentrate on the water or the liquid. You can concentrate on white, yellow, whatever the color you like, but these are all outside objects that you are trying to concentrate on. And this would be accomplished if you did not give any other food for your vijnanas. That means when these yogis get out of the town, get out of the rural villages as well, and go into the deep forests to meditate, all they see are trees and nothing else, and maybe birds and maybe wild animals, but they do not see images that make their lives or the thought processes vulnerable to raga. So if someone in the jungle or the forest comes out of the jungle or the forest and see a beautiful scene, then the original nature of that mind, which was raga, would come out of the closet, and then that person would that person's mind would start to wander around. And the calmness of the water surface that you see when there's no stone put it to the water. So let's say there's a pond, and the water surface of this pond is so smooth and so still that you can see your face through it, or you can see what is in the bottom. You can see the depth. You can see deeper when there's something like that. But if you put a stone, then there would be waves that are formed on the surface of the water. So you won't be able to see your face or the depth of it. You cannot see what is in the bed of the lake. So just like that, that person's samadhi or concentration would be gone if they see an outside thing. But what they do is they know this, that they cannot handle, and their view or delusion about the value that is given for outside object is still there. So what they do is they hide. When they hide, they do not get stimuli for a long time, maybe 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Then only they are able to, since what we remember sticks with us for a few days, when it goes for 20 years, what you would remember are trees and birds and other wild animals and nothing else. There would be very distant memories that could not have any impact on your thought process. They are not powerful to start a train of thoughts. So with that environment, which is an artificial environment, you would be able to create this concentration. Just like that, this is a form of concentration technique that you can use in other disciplines as well. But Supreme Buddha's teaching is always about knowing the truth and knowing what is right and what is wrong. It's not about just concentration. So now what you need to know is, you need to know what NamaRupa is through the cause and effect theory. It's actually not a theory, it's actually the law of the world, law of the universe, you can say. It's beyond a theory, since it explains everything that is born into this world. living, non-living, and living and non-living things. So that's why in Arya discipline, NamaRupa have a very broad explanation, and from place to place, the meaning differs. So at one instance, it can be name for Nama and image for Rupa. So my name is Dhammadassi, and that would be my Nama, and my image would be my Rupa. That's one explanation. At some points in the Arya Dhamma or in the Pali canon, it is described as such. And in some instances, Nama is the what do you call the we call it the shape it gets, or let's say there's I'll give it through an example because it's very hard to explain it in English. So there's a pot, a clay pot. So you have in your mind, before you have a piece of clay which is not used yet. It's a piece of clay. So in your mind, you have the shape of the pot that you are going to create. So that shape, or the initial shape that is in your head, is what you are going to make, so that a pot is seen. So the shape in your head, or shape which would be carved outside, is the Nama, and the image or the pot itself is the Rupa. So what you did was, you get the piece of clay and you folded it in such a way so that it becomes a pot. It was just clay, which is flexible and which can be made into any shape. So you folded it in such a way so that a pot is visible. So the visible pot is called Rupa, and the shape which it got is called Nam. So that's another explanation. So it's very hard to put it in English. Actually, in Sinhala, it is very easy because the word itself gives the meaning. So there's other meanings as well. One is Nama. So Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana is Nama, and Rupa is Rupa. So this is through this Panchaskanda way of classification. So you asked about the 5 aggregates the last day. So when you think about the 5 aggregates, in some places, NamaRupa is divided in that way, where Rupa is Rupa and Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana are Nama. So that's another thing. And in another areas, it is explained as Rupa for the body and Nama for the mind. So it's a derivative of these 5 aggregates. So Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana explains about the mind, and Rupa explains our body. So you can divide it that way as well. So it has a very variety of explanations when it comes to NamaRupa, and you have to get the correct meaning for that place to understand the context of the sutra. Otherwise, you won't be able to comprehend what is being said. So in cause and effect law, we would be discussing about NamaRupa in different ways. And there are different kinds of cause and effect theories as well. So in Pali Canon, it says that Supreme Buddha had said, if someone understands cause and effect law, then that person understands Dhamma. Or when someone understands Dhamma, that person understands the cause and effect law. If someone understands the cause and effect law, then that person understands Buddha or have seen Buddha. So seeing Buddha is not just through eyes. Anybody can see the image of Supreme Buddha through their eyes, but not everyone attained enlightenment. So attaining enlightenment is by seeing through the eyes of wisdom. So eyes of wisdom, the gateway to wisdom is the cause and effect law. So if we understand what is cause and effect law, and that has a lot of jargon, because that uses a lot of technical words, and we can actually spend reasonable time to understand it, maybe 2 or 3 times explaining it, because it is the most valuable part of this, which explains what we discussed so far, everything in one cluster. And if you understand that, using that, you would be able to decipher or understand and solve any problem that is coming in your day-to-day life, as well as in your Arya pathway. So it would be better if we could use the screen share, take sharing this whiteboard. I would try to explain so that you can see, because there are a lot of words that are new to, that will be new to you, and there would be old words as well, which we frequently use. And let me see that whether I can write. So it goes like this. If I could, if I write down the Paticca Samuppada cycle, it goes like this. It starts from avidya, then there is Sankara, then there's Vijnana, then there's that word NamaRupa, NamaRupa, NamaRupa Salayatana, Passa, Vedana, Tanha, Padana, Bhava, Jati. Finally, there's Jara Marana. So it starts with avidya. So avidya cannot last alone. That means it cannot happen on its own. So it's like, let's say avidya is a pattern. So we are trying to create a pattern of something. Let's say there's a pattern like this. And this is not created yet. See, it's just like a weaving. It's a pattern. And sankhara is actually creating things. So you are creating something according to this pattern. It's better if we take the if we get that explanation of the pot. So you have the shape of the pot, right? So you have the shape of the pot, but you have not created it. So if it's just the shape, this cycle would not start. It would start only if you create it. So avidya paccaya sankhara. This is avidya paccaya sankhara. If this much is happened, then you cannot stop this cycle. It would just end here. It would just go for jara marana. And you cannot stop that if avidya paccaya sankhara occurs. So let's say avidya can be again divided, or the same word avidya can be explained in 4 different words. That's Nietzsche, Sukha, Attha, Subha. So that's the same thing. So you know that word is anicca, dukkha, anatta. And that's the reality of the world. But you create the word, or you have a delusional idea that the word is Nietzsche, Sukha, Attha, Subha. So you are this clay is in a different shape. So you should not get confused with the explanation which was given during the NamaRupa. That's a different thing. Now we are trying to explain the cause and effect law. So in this explanation, clay, we can say that clay is the normal way of the world, normal anicca, dukkha, anatta nature of the world. But the worldly beings does not see that anicca, dukkha, anatta. So what they do is they create something that is not there with avidya. That is this pot. And it's just the shape of it. You cannot change what is in the outside. So in the outside, it would be just a lump of clay, just like this. But this is a process that happens in your mind, not outside. So it would be always this piece of clay in whatever the shape it is. But in your mind, out of avidya or Nietzsche, Sukha, Attha, Subha idea, you would create a shape of a pot with that clay. And in your mind, you would make that a reality as well. So you would do the act of creating the pot. This is the action. And you do it through 3 actions. Thoughts, you create thoughts, creating words, and creating actions. That means bodily actions. So these would be the way of creating sankhara. And for this example, we would say you are creating a pot. That means action of creating a pot. There might be a specific word for that. I'm sorry, I don't remember that. So what you get is a pot, and that is vinyana. So you created it according to the shape of avidya. So this is how you could identify the creation of vinyana. So NamaRupa is a process where you use to change your organ system, which is eyes, ears, then nose, tongue, and body or skin, you can say, and mind. These are the salayatana. Sala means 6, and ayatana means these are actually organs. We call it indriya. Indriya or organs are not ayatanas. What Vijnana does is, Vijnana create ayatana through a process of NamaRupa. They use the process of NamaRupa. Now nobody is doing it. It is actually a mechanism. So I am not creating Vijnana. I am not doing Sankara. When avidya is there, avidya is when avidya pacha sankara is there, that means when that mechanism starts, we'll have a comprehensive idea how this all works in synchronization. So when avidya pacha sankara starts, then as a result vijnana occurs, as a result namarupa occurs, as a result salayatana, as a result passa vedana tanha upadana bhava jati, and ends in Jaramarana. Jaramarana is the end of this cycle and it ends without a trace. So we'll see. So Salayatana. So what happens is you change these indriya, this one, these are normal eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. These are normal 6 organs. And you change it in such a way that you can experience pleasure from the outside item. You change it in such a way. For example, let's take example. So at the initial stages of your life, let's say there's an alcoholic. So at the age of 25 years, he is addicted to alcohol. But before that, at the age of 5 or 6 or 7, he's not. He does not even know what is alcohol and the impact of it and whether it's good or not. But he has the what do you call the fundamental need or fundamental thing that is needed for him to become an alcoholic. That is avidya. So when there's avidya, the fundamental form of avidya, or the basic form of when there's the basic form of avidya, and when there is asatpurusha sansevana here. Asatpurusha sansevana means when you have friends, actually they are not friends, when we are thinking from a perspective of Arya discipline, they are actually enemies of us, but we see them as friends. So what they do is they appreciate this world. In this instance, they appreciate the alcohol. So the basic form of avidya take the shape of an alcohol bottle here. So since alcohol is good, is the primary or the input of these people. It can be images, it can be a advertisement, it can be sounds, it can be the smell, it can be the taste. Basically, usually it is the inputs that we get through eyes and ears, because even a person is what we see through our eyes and what we hear through our ears. We cannot experience a person from other organs. Basically, we use the eyes and ears. So it can be an advertisement as well, and maybe a TV advertisement. Even that does not actively involve a live person, it gives the same effect. Someone saying that using alcohol is good, and this alcohol is good. Alcohol is good is the outside stimulus that is given to change the shape of avidya. Now I am using the shape of a bottle, but it's not like that. It is the idea that alcohol is nitya sukha atta subha, which is generated. So you create a shape of this kind of a shape in your mind. So when you create thoughts, initially what you do is you think, yes, it might be good. Everyone says that it's good. I also should have some. I also should have a sip of alcohol and see whether actually it's delicious or it's that blissful. That would be the idea you get. And initially it would start with thoughts, and then words, and finally the action of drinking. And even when you are creating thoughts, what you do is you create a bottle here, a vinyan, a mindset that needs alcohol is created. That's vinyan, a mindset that needs alcohol. And this mindset is what creates salayatana through a process of NamaRupa. And what the vinyana does is, so you have your eyes, you have your ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. So there are 6 organs or indriya. So for the 5-year-old boy, his eyes are not searching for bottles of alcohol. His ears are not looking for parties or when someone says that there's a party where alcohol would be there, then that ears would just go and catch that instance and ask and start the process of raga, where that person would go there and ask, can I come? Can I join as well? But for the 5-year-old, even if he hear others or adults talking about a party where there would be alcohol, that ears are not going towards that. That means it does not get excited. The smell of alcohol does not excite a 5-year-old boy. The taste of alcohol, still no response. Or the bodily or the blissful nature. Initially, even for a 5-year-old, since he does not know he would find it very unpleasant. It's a burning sensation. Nobody likes it. So even the mind, even the thought of having alcohol would not occur in that mind. Even if someone asks, that thought would just vanish from his mind, and he would be focusing on toys and other important things that he finds important. But what happens when he becomes older? This does not have a problem with becoming old. This is because he got friends that are not that also has the same delusional idea, which alcohol is good. And when that input comes from the avidya, or when that input comes from the outside world, our avidya, or the avidya starts, and initially what happens is avidya paccaya sankhara occurs. So the thought process occurs, and with that a mindset occurs too, which is vijnana. Vijnana is the mindset, occurs for drinking alcohol. And this eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, mind, which are the 6 organs. These 6 organs would be changed in such a way so that you can experience blissful sensation through your 6 organs. And when it is changed, it is called salayatana. So that's what, and here when we explain NamaRupa, we have, I explained there are few meanings for NamaRupa, and in this scenario we use one of them. Nama is the shape, and Rupa is the end result of it when the indriya gets that shape. So eyes become bottles, ears become bottles, nose, tongue, body, and mind, all of them become bottles. So for the initial child, they were just eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. So alcohol could not be put into that. You cannot put alcohol into a small child's eyes, and that child would not feel blissful. He would just see a bottle of alcohol and a bottle of water and a bottle of alcohol. There would not be a difference for that child. A story about alcohol and a story about water would not be a different thing. Other than the difference of words, he would not find any interest in it. For the nose, even child might not like the smell of the alcohol. And maybe it would be similar, like smell of garbage and smell of alcohol would be the same. He would not find any difference. And he would not enjoy the or the taste of alcohol, or the thought of, or the thinking train of thoughts about alcohol. He would not enjoy. But when it goes through a process of NamaRupa, since salayatana are created, now you see now in cartoons that you have seen 2 eyes and a heart like this, to say that this person is in love or something. So just like that, there would be 2 bottles. So my drawing is very bad because it's very hard to write here in this tab. So pardon me for that. So there's this bottle. There are 2 bottles in his eyes when the person is creating salayatana using vijnana and using the indriya or 6 organs. So using these 6 organs, they create something new, which is salayatana. And that salayatana would be used for passa. This passa is touch. What is touched? Eyes touch images, ears touch sounds, nose touch smells, tongue touch tastes, body or skin touches the feeling of touch, and mind touches thoughts. So touch. So what happens when there are salayatana? We can use mathematics also to explain this. So initially, eyes are 0, ears are 0, nose is 0, tongue, body, mind, all of them equals to 0. But what avidya does is, it creates a vijnana which is minus. Let's say minus 100. Minus 100 because now this person has a mindset of an alcoholic. It's always deficient. So now he has a deficient mindset. And through a process of NamaRupa, they change the ayatana or this indriya to become minus 100 as well. So salayatana, actually this should come here. So salayatana also becomes minus 100. Actually, the bottle of alcohol just like the piece of clay, it's in the outside word here. So bottle of alcohol is actually 0. It's just a bottle, just like water. It doesn't have any outside or any characteristic to become blissful. So what we do is we create a minus deficient mindset in our mind. It's actually avidya which creates the deficient mindset. So a deficient mindset occurs in our mind, and that creates our whole body and our organ system to go minus 100. When something minus touches something above, that means 0. If we get minus 100 is here, 0 is here. So it's going up. So it's blissful. Since the deficiency is met, when it moves upwards, that means when the deficient eyes meet a bottle of alcohol, the deficiency is treated, and the resulting, and in the process, the person would experience blissfulness. And this goes on for all the 6 organs. Even hearing about a party, even hearing even a call from an alcoholic friend, and even the smell of alcohol, even the taste of it, even the blissful sensations that it gives to your body, or thinking about it would give immense pleasure, because it's actually, in reality, it's 0. But since you have created the organ system of minus 100, you would feel blissful. And with touch, you would experience that delusional feeling. It's something you create in your mind, delusional feeling. So when you get the delusional feeling, which is always blissful, what happens is attachment. So attachment is the result, tanha. And due to the attachment, that you get stuck in that, you get stuck, or you get, what do you call, upadana. So in upadana, you get something like clinging. Clinging to it. So you get attached and you get sticked. Attachment, it's like you initially when you put glue and paste two things, you put glue in between and you put two things together. First is attachment. Then when the glue, when it dries up, that's sticking. So you stick to that. Stick into that. So that creates a bhava. What is a bhava? Bhava is called state of being. So this is a alcohol drinking state of being. That is what is emanated here through this process. Through this whole process, an alcohol drinking being is, or an alcoholic state of being is emanated. And the jati which is created is called an alcoholic. Alcoholic is created. Sorry, I don't have any space here. So it's an alcoholic. So an alcoholic occurs as a result. Jati is called type. So it's the type. In English, you can say it's type. So for example, there are various jati. So angry jati, angry type, then raga jati, then actually the computer is a jati, your phone is a jati, your mother, father, all living and non-living things that are visible or not visible, just like the ragic mind, dvesha mind, and caring mind, kind mind, everything are jati. So if something is real, whether it's nama or rupa, that means that whether it's connected to mind or physical world, if something is real, then that's jati. So everything, then if that set includes everything, so I explained everything, mind, body, and also the outside world. So everything, if everything are jati, so then we can understand that everything was created through this process of cause and effect. So this is now so if we get this cycle again, so you have avidya, so this is the cycle. So what happens here is you had this alcoholic avidya. So avidya, or the value you have given value to alcohol, and because of that you have created this mindset of an alcoholic, and you have changed your organ systems in order to feel blissful, or you created a deficient organ system to feel blissful through a neutral item, which is alcohol. Now you are -100 and alcohol is 0. And when the passa or touch occurs or from either of these 6 organs, what you feel is a delusional feeling, and you get attached to it and you get sticked onto it, and you create a bhava or a acting state of liking alcohol or using alcohol, and that creates a alcohol drinking jati or a type or an alcoholic. And what happens? That ends in jara marana. What is jara marana? Jara marana is the end. That means this jati does not last. It dies then and there. Because since the causes are gone, creating one it's actually a cascade of causes which creates jati. Since all the causes are eliminated while creating the other one, the end result cannot last. It also ends up in jara marana. So what happens when something you like? So think about a drinking party. So what they does is they create, while, so drinking here, drinking is the sankhara. So now the alcohol drinking avidya or value, he has value for alcohol in his mind, and that's avidya, alcohol. So alcohol. So this person has value for alcohol, and then because of that starts drinking, and this creates this mindset. So actually, this drinking happens in so what happens is this drinking creates a mindset or mindset of a drunk person or alcoholic. So this creates this deficient organ system, and this creates touch, the delusional feeling, attachments, sticking or sticking onto that attachment, and bhava is alcohol drinking state of being. Our alcohol drinking process is bhava, and this alcohol drinking process creates an alcoholic. An alcoholic ends up, because of that, especially this vedana ends. Because of that, that person feels jara marana, gives up to suffering. Soka parideva dukkha domana supayasa sambhavanti, as it is said in the text. Soka means then there's sorrow, then lamentation, then physical and mental suffering. I would just say it: mental, physical suffering, and despair. So everything comes because of jara marana. Why? This person valued this part of alcohol, vedana, feeling, and that person was looking for the feeling of alcohol, and that ends, and a whole the process ends at jara marana. When something blissful is taken away from you, that leads to sorrow and physical and mental pain. So what happens is you start to build up vexation at the end. Vexation starts to build up. Because of that, you would not hesitate to take another sip of alcohol. So you had the first sip, and the this cycle started and it went up to Jara-marana. At Jara-marana, what you get is vexation. And this vexation is called, what do you call, dukkha dukkha. And because of that, you would start sankhara dukkha. And because of that, you would be experiencing viparinama dukkha. These are the three dukkhas that is associated with this kind of a scenario. So you are trapped. Think about it. So when you have this delusional and foolish feeling of that alcohol is good, or ignorant feeling that alcohol is good, you started this, and that created a mindset of an alcoholic. That is what gives out dukkha dukkha. So you have the mindset of an alcoholic, and that mindset, because of that mindset, you are using alcohol all the time, or at that session of using alcohol, you use it. So when you use it, what happens is this cycle starts to strengthen. That means the avidya starts to strengthen up, and the sankhara, level of sankhara, starts to increase from thoughts to words to actions. So this cycle starts to, just like a spinning wheel, just like a wheel that, let's say, a ply wheel. So when you start to rotate this ply wheel, it initially starts with a very low speed, and the speeds adds up, and at the end it starts to rotate in very high speeds. Just like that, when avidya starts, for a 5-year-old boy or a 10-year-old one who is just listening to a adult conversation of alcohol use, this cycle starts very slowly, and it starts to rotate. It starts to increase the speed gradually up to the point that it cannot be stopped anymore. And that point, we called him a alcoholic. So it has gone beyond recovery. So it can be recovered, but not through a normal attempt. That needs a lot of effort to stop this. So if it is going in 100 kilometers per hour, you need that kind of a negative force or a brake system that can stop this kind of a rotation. So this, what happens, this vexation, dukkha dukkha, again starts another sip of alcohol, and that sankhara, that fuels up the mindset of an alcohol, and that creates, and this actually started with -100, and that goes to -200, 300, and so on. So because of that, the feeling or the vedana, or which you would experience, the delusional feeling would be even higher, because from -300 to 0, it has a big difference. So the delusional bliss you would be feeling is even higher. So because of that, the idea of avidya is actually proven through this process, because you initially had the idea that drinking alcohol is blissful, and this mindset and everything, and this process actually creates that the wish of avidya a truth, because it goes down. Because of that, the gap is higher. Because of that, the feeling of blissfulness through alcohol is high. So because of that, you get trapped in this cycle and you become a very bad alcoholic. So you get trapped in this. So you end up in attachment, and the attachment is even higher because the blissfulness is higher, and the upadana is even higher, and the bhava, or the process of drinking alcohol, or the alcohol drinking state of being, is also higher than the jati you create is also higher. But everything ends up in jara marana. So when you had to part with something, jara marana is you have to go separate from it. Even at the level of one sip, drinking of one sip of alcohol, you have to get separated from that feeling. As soon as it is felt, it's gone. Now what you have is viparinama dukkha, and dukkha increases since the initial delusional feeling was delusional blissful feeling was high. Since the initial blissful feeling was high, the viparinama dukkha, or the dukkha that occurs at the separation from the blissful sensation, would be even higher. So the viparinama dukkha would be even higher. So when the viparinama dukkha is high, since the alcoholic mindset here you have created is more powerful, the vexation that it gives would be more powerful. So the vexation, or the dukkha would be becoming higher. And when the dukkha is high, the sankhara dukkha you would willing to do, or the avidya would, it actually automatically the sankhara dukkha occurs when the dukkha is high. Say there's a mosquito biting in your arm. So this vexation builds up, and if you don't know that killing or hurting is bad, you just kill it. Otherwise, you are just biting your what do you call? You are clenching your teeth, and you are trying to ignore, but you won't be able to do that. You just chase it away. If you're not killing it, you just chase it away. You would be okay for some extent when that red line is crossed. The sankhara would be occurring. And just like that, when the dukkha is so high, or the vexation is so high, you would not hesitate to sell all the property that you have in order to drink alcohol. Just this happens for gambling as well. This is a very good example that you can take, or the best example that we can take from the outside world is use of drugs. When someone gets addicted to drugs, the level of sankhara, or the level of vexation, becomes so high, the level of sankhara that is done becomes high. Initially, it starts with just thoughts, then words, then actions, and the level of action that you would go, the level of actions that you would go it becomes higher. So initially it would be just spending your money, and then it would go for selling all the property you have, because this cycle becomes everything in your life, all the other things, because you are attached and sticked onto it. So you would start doing illegal things to earn money after selling. Now you are becoming a going for immoral actions, because since the vexation is so high, you don't mind. If the vexation becomes so high, you would not mind. That's the nature of this cycle. That's what happens. So this is very dangerous, because you don't have any control over it. So illegal things, you start doing illegal things, robbing, stealing, and everything, and you would end up in jail or something, and that's what would happen. So if we understand this this cycle, and there's few more things that you need to understand. So I would have to write down this again. No, sorry, here there's Sankara. So there's finally Jaramaran at the end. So you understood that in the last one here, how dukkha, sankhara dukkha, and viparinama dukkha occurs. So because of that, you end up in a vicious cycle that repeats, and that which repeats and which increases in intensity, which also increases the intensity of dukkha or suffering, and you get stuck in it. With the only because of this avidya performing sankhara. That means avidya paccaya sankhara. When it creates this. So if we go to the initial one, so you had the bottle of alcohol, the shape of bottle of alcohol, and when you create that bottle of alcohol with sankhara, initially thoughts. So when you create it with thoughts, creating vijnana, so that becomes what you call a vexatious mindset. So this vexatious mindset creates salayatana, which are vexatious organ system, through a process of NamaRupa. And the touch you would be receiving is delusional, and the Vedana you would be feeling is delusional. And because of the Vedana, which is delusional, is actually blissful, you would get attached to it, you would get stick onto it, and you would create this jati at the end. So what you need to understand is that this process is actually not done. You don't have any control over this process. You cannot control avidya, because it says, so what is avidya? Nicca sukha atta subha. So this is avidya. Nicca sukha atta subha. Nicca means you can control according to your will, and that is what gave pleasure, because you thought that everything is according to your control. But actually it is a process like this. So if you know this cycle, and if you understand it through wisdom, then you have already eliminated avidya to some extent. So avidya has various layers. It starts with moha. Moha is the what do you call the most, when the strength of avidya is so high, you call it moha, and when it is less, it calls amoha, and it goes like this way. So some moha, pramoha, and like that, it comes down, and the initial state is avidya. So avidya has a according to strength, it has a hierarchy like thing. So when there's avidya, what happens is, so when this happens because there's vexation, or this happens because there's vexation, or because there's what you called outside stimulus of that changes the initial state of avidya. Just like the people who said that drinking alcohol is good. That is the initial input. So it's actually so if it's a cause and effect theory, you have to show everything. So this cannot happen without any reason. So this reason is either vexation of dukkha. So you create sankhara out of avidya to create the vedana, or the, so you like to experience it to get rid of the vexation, because you don't like getting separated at jara marana. So when there's avidya, what happens? For avidya pacha sankhara to occur, what happens is either it's vexation or inputs from delusional mindsets. Those are the images, can be images. It doesn't have to be a mindset per se. It can be images, delusional images that gives the delusional idea, that which feeds the avidya. So just like the friends that we had, just like the what you call image, or the hearing, or the when people say that alcohol is good, that part starts a process of avidya pacha sankhara, or avidya thoughts of avidya. Here, thoughts of avidya creating the vijnana. So these thoughts are created to create the vijnana, or the mindset of avidya. So when that is created, so now see, you don't have any control over it. This happens and it ends in jara marana at the end. You don't have control it at vijnana NamaRupa salayatana passa. No, it's a process. Just like a clock. You see, there are cogwheels. If you see the clock, there's a battery here, and there are different cogwheels that transmits the electrical energy and changes it to mechanical energy. And at the dial of the clock, you see these hands moving, showing the time, like this. So when these cogwheels move, you don't have any authority or any what you call any say in it, because it was created in such a way to do or show this time. You don't have any control over it. You cannot say, even if you say that show me 3 o'clock, it doesn't work like that. Show me 3:30. No, it doesn't work like that. It is working according to the mechanism. Just like that, this is also a mechanism. When avidya pacha sankhara happens, sankhara vijnana namarupa salayatana passa vedana tanha upadana bhava jati jara marana, and that is the end. You cannot stop here or here or here or here. You cannot go backwards, upwards. No, you cannot. You don't have any control over it. So that's why it is very distressing, or that's why samsara is very problematic, because you always get trapped in this vicious cycle where suffering increases from one cycle to other. So suffering increases. It increases and it becomes a and you get stuck, and every other thing would be neglected and you would be stuck. Then so extreme case is this use of alcohol, use of addiction to gambling. Any addiction would be a great example for understanding this. But most of the time, the vexation here at Jara Marana, vexation, which is created, is to an extent. So since it stopped at an extent, for example, what do you call hunger? Or let's say if it is better if we take something related to mind. So let's say watching television. So you do not develop a since it does not actually what do you call changes the chemistry of your body. Now drinking alcohol, having drugs changes the chemistry of your body. So what happens is, change chemistry is like a deficient body. So you get tremors, you get other problems like cremation and other things when you get these drugs. So it makes it more deficient. So the dukkha is so high, you get an addiction. But for watching TV, a mechanical or the physical process, there can be a physical process which happens at the neurotransmitter level of your brain, where the chemical changes happen. But if you think about if you compare it with the impact of alcohol, impact of what do you call drugs with watching TV, now there's a vast difference, because drinking alcohol or having drugs create your body so deficient, or makes your body so vexatious. Your body's vexation actually creates the mind vexatious. So it goes backwards. Other ways as well. Or vexatious body actually increases the vexation of the mind, and mind itself increases the vexation of the body. So it goes like a circle again. And that's how the vexation, when it comes to addictions, becomes so powerful. But we have all of these are addictions actually. So watching is an addiction, hearing is listening is an addiction, then tasting and actively smelling is an addiction, and feeling touch, the need to feel touch is addiction. Thinking is addiction. So all the addictions would be gone in an arihat. For other people, you have these addictions to some extent. You do not call it addiction, because in science it's always about relativity. So if everybody was using alcohol just like food, then they would not say it's an addiction. Just like we don't call having to eat every day, three meals a day, an addiction. But think about it. If only 2% of the people needed food and all the others were fine without it, and they would say that having food is an addiction. So just like that, it's always relative when it comes to science. But if you see if you see from a point of non-relativity, if you see from a point of nibbana, you see that everything is an addiction. So addiction, this is a cycle of addiction. You get addicted, you become a victim of avidya paccaya sankhara. And now you need to know how this cycle, actually this becomes a cycle. Now I am writing a line or a list downwards, and I am saying that it is a cycle. Now you have a small idea that this vexation, how this vexation initiates the avidya paccaya sankhara again. But what about karmic energy? How does karmic energy starts to occur through a cycle like this? So avidya, again, sankhara, vijnana, namarupa. So it ends in Jara Marana. So what happens at Bhava? So you have Karma Bhava. So now these are different explanations. Though we use the same words, you should not get all these things mixed up together. So until the last slide, it was explaining the same thing. But when it comes to this one, you can attach the two, but initially you have to identify that this is about explaining what do you call another aspect of Bhava, but also can be applied to the last slides as well. But we'll combine the two at the end. So Karma Bhava, and there's Karma Bhava as well as Uppati Bhava. So Karma Bhava is where this energy is going to be stored. So what is happening when someone drinks alcohol? That is not a very good thing to do. It's actually it's something that should be avoided, because if I may tell you a small story of something our Loku Thero or Abheratana Alankara Thero has seen during through his extra, or what do you call it, super normal powers, or what do you call these extra mundane powers. So he has once seen that when you drink, what happens is the part that inhibits our what do you call this we have this shyness in our personalities. We are sometimes shy to do certain things. We are not going to dance in the middle of people, saying bad words or removing clothes. That kind of things are not done usually. But when someone drinks alcohol, their personality changes so much, they would just do anything that does not make them, do not make them feel ashamed. So in his wisdom, he saw that even in dogs, you do not get that part. Oh, there's a specific part in your brain that controls this. Because of that part only, we are not acting like dogs. We are not acting like drunk people, because we have that part and that part is active. But when you take alcohol, that part gets inhibited. So that person becomes someone like a dog. Because actually in dogs also, that part does not exist. So that part which controls this shyness, so you feel ashamed of what you are doing, are not there in dogs as well. So you become similar to a dog when you have alcohol. So it's not something good. It's something what you call immoral in a way. So because of alcohol only, you do other bad things as well, and it's a gateway to other bad things as well. Alcohol itself is also bad, not a very not a good thing to do, an immoral thing, and it also leads to other immoral actions as well. So when that happens, the karma bhava, in karma bhava, it is deposited. This is a metaphysical world where we are not talking about this physical world. This karma bhava, actually this all avidya, sankara, vijnana, you cannot see it. It happens, it occurs in a metaphysical world, based on your mind. Just like you cannot see your mind, just like you cannot find a place where the mind is, it's actually there's a small play or attachment with rupa and nama. That's a different thing. But when it comes to nama or vedana, sanya, sankara, vijnana, that occurs in a metaphysical world. So even we call it a world, it does not have a physical element or space taken for its appearance. So you have karmic bhava. So in karma bhava, this get deposited. So let's say negative energy. Okay, negative energy. This negative energy is getting deposited, right? So when that get deposited in this karmic bhava, and you know that karmic energy is what gives images. Now we have discussed this. Images, sounds, smells, tastes, touches, and thoughts. So initially, when your other internal organs, you have eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind, you have the other 6 here. So when these gets collided, or when these when images meet your eyes, sounds meet your ears, and so on, at this point, this part is karmic. See, when you get this negative energy, you get this thought of drinking again and again, because you have created it and send it to karmic bhava, karma bhava. So you get this thought again and again to drink. So you remember it. You get flashbacks of what you have done. Have some, because you have created a alcoholic bhava. Alcoholic bhava. So the negative energy is bound with that alcoholic bhava. So the karmic energy, when the thoughts hit your mind, what you would get is it actually is a what you call a starting force, or it acts as a starting force that starts this avidya paccaya sankara cycle. Even though you get the thought, say this person next day listened to a sermon and eliminated avidya, he can get this thought again, let's say not eliminated, but became a sotapanna or anagami. Even he would remember what he did yesterday. I drank lot of alcohol yesterday. But since this avidya paccaya sankara this avidya has become so reduced, you would not start avidya paccaya sankara, so that this cycle would end. So this karmic bhava is the place when you deposit it, this gets back to you through avidya paccaya sankara. And even if this comes back to you, avidya paccaya sankhara is not karmic. Only to this point is karmic. From here to here is karmic. So if you create positive energy, so let's say you came to the temple and you worshipped and you listened to Dhamma, that thoughts would be hitting your mind, and then that would start another, what do you call, Paticca Samuppada cycle. This is not the only Paticca Samuppada cycle. It says that there are hundreds of them. This is only one. This is only avidya paccaya sankhara Paticca Samuppada cycle, which generates dukkha, suffering. And it is also only one aspect of it. It says that it is like an ocean. When you are in a boat and when you get into the ocean, you cannot see where it ends, where it starts, nothing. You are just in the middle of the ocean and you are in the middle of nowhere. You don't feel that, you don't have any navigation when you are in the middle of the ocean in a small boat. So likewise, Paticca Samuppada is something like that. We are just trying to just understand, and my understanding is also like that. It is, I am capable of understanding only a drop of that ocean. It's very deep and it's very hard to understand, and we do not need that as well. We just need to understand the basic two Paticca Samuppada cycles. One is Arya Paticca Samuppada cycle, and the other one is this avidya paccaya sankhara Paticca Samuppada cycle. So when you die, what happens is, then the uppatti bhava is occurring. So what happens is, when you die, your eyes die first. Then your ears shuts down. Then nose, then tongue. Then your body shuts down and your mind becomes the primary and the powerful organ. At that point, so the thoughts and mind, thoughts and mind are the only connection that you have. And this uppatti bhava is what gives you thoughts to your mind. And since that person has become an alcoholic, so a lot of negative energy of an alcoholic. So uppatti bhava creates an environment where you are in a bar, where you are enjoying with your friends, and it gives the background environment of an maybe a party, alcohol party. So you are in the party and you have the opportunity, and it actually creates the opportunity for an avidya paccaya sankhara to start. And when that gets initiated, and you are, even if you don't like the causes, even if you don't like the effect, since you have created the causes, which is through negative energy at the uppatti bhava, or initially it was in the karma bhava. When it becomes uppatti bhava, when at the last jara marana of your life. So you are at 85 years of age, and maybe that person is at 85 years of age, and he has been an alcoholic all the time during his life. So he has generated a lot of karmic power, and now this last jara marana, which creates another jati. Now he was in human jati, human type, or manusya type. So this is the last jati of the human bhava, and it becomes jara marana at the end. And now, since it creates this, since there are energy or karmic energy at the karma bhava, it becomes Uppatti Bhava, or it changes to Uppatti Bhava, or it's the same thing, since it comes at the end of this human or the lives at the end of the life. Since it comes at the end of the life, we call it Uppatti Bhava. So Uppatti Bhava, at the Uppatti Bhava, what happens is, so it creates the environment for a alcoholic or for an alcoholic mindset to occur, and that mind actually equals with a dog. So this is a dog-like mindset. So what happens is, dog-like avidya, dog-like sankara, dog-like, so alcohol vinyana is actually dog-like vinyana. So it creates a NamaRupa, or this vinyana creates this NamaRupa. So at the end of the life, so you have eyes. So you have eyes and ears, and what you have again, nose, tongue, and body, and already you have created mind. Vijnana is the mindset, and dog-like mindset creates dog-like eyes, dog-like ears, dog-like nose, dog-like tongue, and dog-like body, and you have created a dog. And you get the dog touch, dog vedana, dog tanha, dog upadana, dog bhava, and you become or that person has become a dog at the end. So a human became a dog because of his or her good or bad doings. In this case, bad. So if someone acts in a bad way, this is what happens at the end of the human jati. So human jati, you must have created it for 80 years, 70 years, depending on your karmic energy you have. So at the end of this one, this thing is actually again totally karmic, here to here. So at the end of the death, at the end of the day, when your life ends, you have no say over it. That's totally karmic. And see, if you have done good things, even if you have not become an Arya, this positive energy would come to your help. And it would give you thoughts, good thoughts, nice thoughts, helping people. Now, Deva Bhava is about helping. Deva means giving. So you are delivering out. You are practicing non-attachment. Maybe in a mundane way, not in a supramundane way, where Nibbana becomes the ultimate goal. But even if your goal is to become a Deva, and you give, and you do the act of giving, then that is actually the real thing that is needed to become a Deva. So you might have the idea of becoming a Deva, and you do dog-like things. That does not become you. That wish does not become true. You ultimately end up becoming a dog. But if you do Deva-like things and you wish to become a Deva, since not because of wishing, but because you have done things that needed to be done to become a Deva, since you have done that, that would make you a Deva. So it would create a mind or a mindset of a Deva. At that point, since you have practiced that Deva Sankara so much, you would start or create a mindset through Deva Avidya, Deva Sankara. You would create a Deva mind, and your NamaRupa, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, or through NamaRupa, this Vijnana would create this eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body of a Deva, and you would feel the touch of a Deva and feeling of a Deva, and attachment, Upadana, and Deva Bhava, and Deva Jati. That means you become a god at that point. So that's how. Now this is a bit complex. Now you might get these two the things we explained here about Sankara, Dukkha and everything, and the other Paticca chakra mixed up. So that's why I try to explain it in different slides here to explain you how the karmic energy also applies here in this scenario, in this what you call cause and effect cycle. So at the end, what happens when you become an Arya? Now, it has almost passed 2 hours. Maybe we would see if this is too much to digest, we might stop here, and on the next day we would discuss how an Arya Paticca Samuppada works. And otherwise, if you are willing to listen, no, we can continue on the next one as well here today. But let's see, what do you think? Should we discuss it on a separate day and discuss the questions and different problems that you might have with this discussion, or should we go on and discuss the other one as well?
Thero, we'll ask the audience, but the suggestion maybe if they have any questions up to what you have explained up to now, maybe we can.
Yeah, that would be better. Yeah.
Yes. So we would like to invite all of you to raise any questions on the Paticca cycles that we have discussed so far. And that way, Thero might be able to get an understanding of what you may have understood, where you may need some more clarity. Thus, he may be able to explain further on those points. So I'd like to invite all of you to ask, either you can speak and or put it into text. We have received, okay. Anyone else who may have a question?
Now, this is actually a mechanism. So actually what you need to understand through this is not by hearting the mechanism, but you have to see the anicca dukkha anatta nature through this. So you saw that this cannot be controlled, that is anicca. And you saw the suffering part, dukkha, dukkha sankhara, dukkha viparinama dukkha, that is dukkha. And you saw that this is the way how this works. This is the ultimate life that you are leading. Then that is actually not that essence full. That means it is actually a pointless life. Anatta. There's nothing of essence in it. It's not controllable according to your will. It ends up in jara marana all the time. So if you have a vexation, you would have to create it again and again and again, still ends up in jara marana. Does not exceed the moment. Just in a moment, it becomes jara marana. So that's how actually is what do you call various types come to be in the same person. So it was an alcoholic type or alcoholic jati at one instance. Let's say he stopped the alcoholic avidya sankara and creating other things, and he started another thing. and that is he started becoming angry. So that's another thing. So that's avidya, avidya paccaya sankhara, creating a dvesha jati, or a conflicting mind, creating a conflicting jati. And maybe now he does not like alcohol, now he likes watching television. Now that television watching avidya, television watching sankhara creates a mindset which likes watching television, and you create salayatana for that. And at the end, you create a television watching jati, or a type. So in the same person, you cannot create and keep the type. It always ends up in jara marana. You'd have to again look and create the television watching jati. Even in one glance, the television watching jati is at jara marana. And you have to keep watching so that you create sankhara to create the jati. In the moment you stopped watching, or you close your eyes, your television watching jati is gone. And maybe the television or the power, there's a power cut, and you missed your television or your favorite television show, and now you are sad, and you have a bottle of alcohol. What you do is you go to your room, or go to the place where you take alcohol, and you start drinking. And now what sankhara does is, now sankhara creates a alcohol drinking jati. And as soon as alcohol drinking is done, what you do is, now you feel that this is not good, I should listen to some Dhamma, and you start listening to Dhamma. Now you are creating a jati, that or a Dhamma listening jati. So for actually, if you have understood the reality, then it does not start with avidya, and that's a total different Paticca Samuppada, which we have to understand separately. So that's why I did not bring up the understanding of Dhamma. But say you did not develop wisdom, then you still have avidya while listening to Dhamma as well. So if you only develop wisdom, then the Paticca Samuppada cycle changes. Otherwise, still you would listen to Dhamma, and even if someone is preaching Dhamma, if that person has not understood what he is talking about, he would be starting a avidya paccaya cycle. That's why it says that you need to be in the presence of Arya to become enlightened. Because if someone is starting avidya paccaya sankhara cycle, and that cannot create, this is called Akusala-Mula Paticca Samuppada, or the Arya cycle. That cannot start an Arya cycle in another person. So only if the Arya cycle was started in one person, he can start another person's Arya cycle. So that's how it is. So what you need to understand is, this is a cycle that happens in the moment. At this moment, you can apply it to your life. So say you are going after something, going after some craving. So you know that you have dukkha, or you have created this mindset, and this is not something that is happening right now. So through a period of time, you have generated this karma power, which now starts repeating, or the thoughts come to your mind through karmic energy to maybe say if you are fond of playing games or video games. Now the thought of playing video games comes to your mind, and that thought itself, because of avidya, you have already created the thought vinyan, or the game playing mindset. Since you have created it, you have already created the what you call salayatana, or deficient organ system. Since you have created it, now you cannot stop. Now you just have to play. That's how you get caught in this cycle. So what you do is, you you just go and get the turn on the computer or PlayStation or start playing. So now your sankharas become strengthened. Initially, it was just a thought. Again, you just skipped from thought to action, just skip the words as well. So now you have started creating so much dukkha, suffering. So you have sankhara dukkha and you have viparinama dukkha. Since the viparinama dukkha is always coming, what you do is you continue on playing the game, so that you create sankhara to forget about the viparinama dukkha. But as soon as you stop it, viparinama dukkha is there. So that's what happens when there's a power cut. So power is gone, viparinama dukkha becomes highlighted, and you cannot start sankhara because the light, the current is gone. So there's a power cut. The current, there's no more current to start the machine. So what happens? You end up in dukkha. That mindset starts to bother you, or the vexatious feeling that the mindset gives, it becomes highlighted, and you become you are in so much pain, so much sorrow, so much suffering. That's what happens. So since the world is not according to your expectation, or you cannot control the world, you do not know when there's a power cut. You do not know when your PlayStation or computer breaks. You do not know then when that happens. You do not know when your eyes become blind. You do not know when your hands or arm gets broken. You do not know anything, and you do not have any control over it. So that's the scary part. Another scary part. So you have created this cycle which is not controllable, which always increases the dukkha, suffering part throughout. When the cycle is working, it intensifies the suffering, and you don't have any say over it, and you don't have any say over the outside world as well. So because of that, the salayatana. So the thing is, there's bahira salayatana and abhyantara salayatana. So bahira salayatana. Now, if we get this again. So there's this vijnana and NamaRupa salayatana. So in this salayatana, what you have is, so you had eye, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. These are internal salayatana or abhyantara. And there's images, then sounds, smells, then there's taste, touch, and thoughts. These are called external or bahira salayatana. So what happens is, then when these two, when this happens, this is called passa. That is what gives out vedana or feeling. So then now when eyes are, when these internal salayatana, we do not have any control over them. And this external salayatana, we do not have any control over them. So since we are attached to vedana, so vedana pacca tanha, that's attachment. So we are attached to tanha or vedana here. So since tanha or the vedana is important to us, that's what we started from avidya, importance, value. So value comes here as well. So this is called avidya vedana. because avidya is always starting it. Every component of it is having avidya. So this is avidya vedana, or valuable vedana. So this is valuable vedana, and that is valuable tanha. So valuable vedana gives value to this and this as well. So you give value to internal and external organ systems as well. So since this is valuable, when you lose, when something you do not like happens to something valuable, again, dukkha dukkha, sankara dukkha, viparinama dukkha. Here, viparinama dukkha. It happens in all of a sudden, dukkha dukkha. And you would do anything to cure your eye. You would visit all the hospitals in your country or in abroad as well. Sankara dukkha. So you would be in so much pain that there's hidden pain all over. So hidden suffering all over this cycle. Since you are trying to manage 12 items, 6 internal and 6 external, that would be painful as well. So that's the other part of it that you need to understand. So think about it. Listen to this few more times, because it would be important for you to get aligned with the understanding. So when you get aligned, you would have this this important information in your mind. That is also important, because when you have connections with Dhamma, even in a next explanation, it would be easier for you to understand what is being said. So this is what Dhamma is. So if someone understands Paticca Samuppada, or if someone understands Dhamma, that person understands Paticca Samuppada. If someone understands Paticca Samuppada, then that person understands Buddha. So that person has seen, maybe not from the physical eyes, but that is not that important. What is important is seeing Buddha from the eyes of wisdom. So if you see this, and you see the nature of the reality of the world, then you have understood, you have seen Buddha. So that if you don't have any questions regarding today's discussion, I think we would go for another day for the other explanation, or Arya Paticca Samuppada, because it would be too much if we start it right now. It would take another 1 or 1.5 hours to explain it to you. And it would be better if you have, maybe you do not have any questions right now, because there's lot of information that was given, and since maybe some of you might have, some of you are familiar with the terms, Pali terms and everything, but if you are very new with the Pali terms as well, this would be a bit hard to understand in one go. Just try to listen to it again and again, and ask any questions, and how this happens, how that happens, how do you apply this Paticca Samuppada to this scenario and that scenario, and a few examples would give you what you need, and you would be able to understand the pattern. And if you understand the pattern, you would be able to comprehend what is needed to be understood.
Thank you very much, Thero. I think, as you suggested, since the group tends to watch the videos again, we'll encourage everyone to go through the video. Have any questions?
My writing is not that good, but I think it would help.
I think it's clear enough, Thero, and because we've now had the opportunity to see the written along with your explanations, we'll encourage everyone to go through it. And if they have any questions on the next day, Thero, we can take up those questions, maybe a few examples, and then switch to discuss the Arya Paticca Samuppada cycle next one as a suggestion. So they may have had some time to further think about it and go through it.
Yeah, that's good.
With that, Thero, can I kindly request you to maybe we can end with a small Anumodana? Would that be okay? Time is about, I think we've gone about 2 hours, 20 minutes. So, thank you.
So today we try to understand the core concept of Dhamma, which is Paticca Samuppada, which is the ultimate Dhamma that was understood by Mahabodhisattva or the Supreme Buddha just before becoming enlightened. So this is what made him enlightened. Understanding this chakra or cycle is what made him enlightened. So we try to understand that. We try to understand the conclusion of that cycle, which is anicca, dukkha, anatta, and we try to understand. And we will try to understand in the next session about Nibbana and how elimination of this cycle would be the only solution for this problem. And we just understood the problem, and in the next day we would try to understand what is the solution for this problem. And since we have our efforts in understanding the ultimate truth or the very rare Dhamma, we have created a lot of meritorious power, which would eventually make our which would definitely make our Arya pathways easier. Which would create meritorious power. That meritorious power would help us to get rid of all the hindrances, all the problems that we face while practicing this pathway. May all that power, may all that meritorious power help you and all of us who are listening to this Dhamma discussion, Dhamma talks, to get rid of all the hindrances, disturbances, obstacles, and everything that cover up the Nibbana pathway. And may all of you be able to understand the Arya Dhamma, attaining the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Accept this with the sadhukara.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
And also, let us remind all the sentient beings in the universe, including your dead relatives that helped you along this sansaric way, and people who helped us, teachers, parents, people who gave us jobs, people who created places, or our houses, our gardens and workplaces, and etc. Because of them only we are able to listen to these Dhamma talks without any problem, and they are also helping us in an indirect way. And let us remind all the people that all the sentient beings that were hurted by us during the sansaric journey without knowing what is right and what is wrong. And let us remind all the deities, all the Brahmas, and all the sentient beings in the universe, including people who created these Zoom platforms and people who helped us to make this a success, especially people who donated the necessary items to this Zoom discussions, especially tablet computers and everything, to this temple to conduct these Zoom discussions, and people who spend for the other fundamental necessities as well. Let us remind all of them. Because of them only we are able to understand or have these Dhamma talks. So may they receive this meritorious power, regardless of wherever they are in this universe. May they refrain from doing bad, unethical things, immoral deeds, and may they engage in meritorious deeds 10 meritorious deeds, and may they understand, ultimately may they understand the supreme truth about the world, ultimately attaining the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Accept this with a sadhukara.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, 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 sadhu.
With that, we will conclude.
Yeah, I would give you a small blessing. Abhivadana Silissa Nichang Vadhapachayano Chattaro Dhamma Vadanti Ayuvanno Sukham Balang Ayurarogya Sampatti Sagga Sampatti Mevacha Ato Nibbana Sampatti Vinati Samijatu. Supatti Vatirvan Saranai. May the Triple Gems bless you.
Thank you very much, Thero, for taking the time to explain, especially very important segment, the Paticca Samuppada, taking all the efforts to not only explain it by words, but also using the whiteboard and other means to try and help us to understand this. We appreciate it very much. We also thank all the audience for your patience and for raising such valuable questions, which allowed all of us to generate these merits and understand the Dhamma. So with that, we conclude the session for today. Theruvan Saranai to all. May the Triple Gem bless you.
Yes.